convinced it's all a joke, and it's not.
Yeah.
We have plenty of evidence. One of the most typical things that skeptics in the academic world will say is, well, there's no real evidence. Well, that's not true. We have hundreds of foot casts of footprints that have been left and cast and studied. We have dozens of hairs that have been studied that match each other and match nothing else, and from various places around the world. These hairs have been matched up. We have DNA samples that have been taken, and they don't want to accept them. We have eyewitness reports by the thousand, and we have a film that's 40 years old that is absolutely conclusive proof of what you see in the film. People have seen the film, they've seen the animal, and they're in denial, is what's gone on here. People don't want to believe it, they can't accept it, so they just automatically say it must be a man in a suit. We have proof now, because this guy's done 10 years of study on the film. He has absolute proof that the film is not a guy in a suit. It's really no longer an arguable point as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of other people who've really studied it. But that's only come forward recently.
So why do they hide, and how can they hide with so many people around?
Well, think about all the rest of the life forms on the planet. Human beings, as you must realize, are very unique in terms of animal life on this planet. We are absolutely separate from everything else. Have you ever watched the movie, the TV show Man vs. Wild, or The Survivor Man?
Yeah.
Well, what you learn in those programs is if you take a human being and you detach them from the grid, meaning technology, electricity, and all the things that we have that make our life so convenient, and you throw them out into the wilderness, well, then a human being then suddenly becomes very similar to all the other animals on the planet. Without our grid, we're helpless. And so what happens is you out in the woods then have just about 4 things that you do, and that's about all you have time for. One is to try and find something to eat, which can be very difficult out in the wilderness. 2 is not to be eaten by something, which can be difficult sometimes too. 3 is find a warm, safe place to sleep for the night where you won't freeze. And the other one is to get some water to drink, you know, and maybe have sex on occasion. And those are the prerogatives that most animals deal with every day, and that's all they have time for. And that's their job. So if you walk around here in the daytime, you're not likely to see a raccoon, are you?
Yeah.
But if you were to come out at night, you'd probably see dozens if you tried. You'd see deer, you'd see bobcats, you'd see a coyote occasionally, and a fox occasionally, and a Bigfoot. So animals hide in the daytime from us, and they come out at night and search for food when they're less likely to be seen by humans and less likely to encounter humans.
So with their size, how are they able to hide, though? Like the ones that are like 14
Well, I don't care
feet.
how big it is. You know, for years they talked about the elephant burial ground. Where are all the elephants? Elephants are very large animals, and yet we don't find dead elephants laying around.
Yeah.
And people used to wonder how that could be. Well, there must be a secret elephant burial ground where they go and hide their dead. Well, actually what it is that when an animal dies in a natural setting, especially in an equatorial forest, for example, it's consumed by nature within days. So a dead body doesn't stay in the woods very long.
No, I mean when they're living, though. Like, how are they able to hide?
Do they have like dens or?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's all sorts of possibilities. We don't have anything confirmed, because if we knew exactly where they hide, then we'd go touch them.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, one of the most logical areas for them to be in this county is Nicene Marks Park. Now, as you know, that park has no amenities other than trails. A lot of that park consists of very, very steep canyons. Very steep canyons. We're talking canyon walls that are like this. You'd have to rappel down into one of those canyons on a rope. And when you got to the bottom of the canyon, where maybe you could walk on flat ground, you'd find that the brush is so thick that you'd have to bushwhack to even move around in there. Well, these things are capable of going into a canyon like that and literally carving their way through the brush with their bulk and strength, something we cannot do. So it's not very hard. Out in the forest here, if you happen to be walking in the woods and you've got a Bigfoot near you, well, what does that Bigfoot have to do? All he's got to do is stand behind a tree, and when you walk by, you don't see him. Not only are they able to hide that way, but they can hide in plain sight. When you go into Henry Call Park and you walk the trails in the morning, sometimes you will see deer there if you're lucky. And what they normally do to hide from you is just stand absolutely still.
Perfectly still.
And that's the primary way that animals hide, by being still. And usually, if you don't see them initially and see the motion, you can look right at a deer out in the,
Yeah.
it's doing its usual thing, and you won't even see it. Or, it's very difficult to see. People have had these things hiding right in front of them in plain sight, thought they were looking at tree stumps, until the thing actually made the mistake of opening its eyes too soon, or moving too soon, thinking you'd already gone or something. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard like this. So they hide in a lot of different ways, and can even hide in plain sight.
So